Is it
Yeah.
sliding?
Okay. Fading out by pressing pause. The most rude.
Fading out.
And fading in to the main screen. And we're rolling all around. We are live, excuse me, on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. And I didn't configure
Mixer? I'm sorry, Mixer's
no,
dead.
Mixer's dead. We didn't
Alrighty.
I'm not streaming on Instagram. But anyways, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Awkward Tea Party, where Max and I essentially get to talk about whatever we want: pop culture, work, current trending
Whatever the
things,
fuck we
whatever we
want.
talk about and want to talk about. And today we have special guest Shinobu, here to slice and dice and make us look fly. Uh, so, uh, if you guys are watching this live, and you see the title, the slap heard across the world, um, it should be pretty still self-explanatory at this point. If you don't know what it is, or you've been living under a rock, we're essentially going to be talking about Will Smith's slapping Chris Rock, but that's just like the surface level of it. There's so much more to kind of unpack because we have our own group chat, and like I was talking to them individually. We kind of have our
We
own
do?
thoughts about it. Oh yeah,
There's a group chat?
yeah. Shoot, I'm
I'm in
talking to a demon slayer. But yeah, it's been very interesting hearing the different perspectives. We had another friend that I think would have been a great add to this, but hopefully she responds to us and she can join us later on the show. But I think just hearing the perspectives has been very fascinating. I'm, it's relative, I guess, to everyone's perspectives. I think based off what he did, he made the best choice he can at that moment. And there's a lot of perspectives on it, and I could see both sides because it's kind of like in my nature to kind of see it. Like, I guess we're going right into it. Like, on the one hand, like, I think this is just for me growing up from growing up with like anger and violence, and I just try not to resort to hitting people right off the bat. But then again, just to preface this at all for towards everything, there's a lot of context that I don't know. There's a lot of context that we don't that we're everything's just speculation, and everything that we're sharing here is just like a, like just like what would we have done, and not saying that what he should have done. He made his own choice based off his own thoughts, where he is at that moment, and how things are. Um, but for me, like my speculation and me wanting to resort to hitting anyone last does um uh I I honestly would have preferred. I'm just gonna take it into my own thing now. I'm not gonna try to
Yeah.
prescribe what he should have done when he did his own action already. But if I would put in that situation, what do you call it? I 1,000% believe that he should have stood up for his wife, and I agree. And that's not to negate the perspective of like black women in general. None of us are that, so I can't speak on that perspective. But this is just again coming from my perspective. I um 1,000% agree that he did the right thing in the sense of standing up for his wife, even in a public sense, because you know um, there's a very good, interesting point that Lauren had brought up. Like, if this was just a regular guy in front of his homies, and they talk shit about if any of my friends talk shit about any one of you, I would be upset. And I remember in the Philippines, like one of my cousins were just crossing the line about saying certain things, and I got visibly upset. I do my best to again to not resort to any violence, because it just like for me it feels like a downward spiral of other things, but that could have been an opportunity for a way of something else of communication. I think Max, you shared something from, I forgot who was it,
It
Bob
was about the drag queen.
Bob the drag queen, of like
Yeah.
communication, using your
Mhm.
in a sense your words
Yeah.
to to communicate in out of respect to what you're feeling, drawing boundaries, because especially when watching Philip DeFranco today, I feel like the way it was done is like, keep my wife's everything out of your mouth. He just became sorry.
Anyway,
The benefits of living on a
main drag.
Main Street. But yeah, anyways, it's what was I saying? I lost my train of thought because of that.
Using Philip DeFranco.
Oh yeah, because he said that, keep my wife's name, all that stuff, he became an open target.
Yep.
For all comedians. So, and he can't go out and just, slap shit out of everybody, because obviously, one, that's you're gonna end up hitting with assault charges, but it perpetuated more of what he didn't want. And then which for me, what do you call it, if done, I guess, in the quote unquote peaceful manner, or through just
PR
talking
friendly.
it out, PR friendly, I feel like it would have prevented that, because he spoke up against his wife, called it out as what it is, drew the line, and boom, who knows, he probably still would be called out for it from all the comedians and all this other stuff, but I just don't know how I feel about standing up for the people you care about while you end up being the martyr.
Yeah. Okay. So for context, what Bob the Drag Queen said was, Will Smith, if he felt so compelled to walk up to Chris Rock in the middle of his monologue, fine. But instead of slapping him, grab the microphone and say, "My wife is alopecia. This is a very sensitive subject. Like, please stop and apologize to her right now." And then, like, he still got up there. He still made a public display of standing up for his wife, and but it wouldn't have been this. It would have been a PR nightmare. It would have been. He wouldn't have martyred himself for it.
Yeah, and then even then, like, with that, he wouldn't like, I'm getting a couple messages from Facebook already, but we'll get to that. Like, even with that, handling affairs privately instead of like in public would prevent other people just being in the crosshairs. It's in terms of that, I feel like it's similar to how when influencers have beef with each other and they do nothing but talk shit to each other on Instagram, or on Twitter or on YouTube, but they do not actually have the conversation off camera where it can be resolved without causing any controversy. I mean, unless you're trying to leverage controversy in the sense of like you're trying to build up your brand, like how I think Kim K is a master at, but like she as an example, but to prevent a PR nightmare or even career suicide, I think that could have been prevented. I mean, I side on this in the sense of, yes, stand up for your wife, stand up for the people you care about, especially when it's about a sensitive matter. But I also am not a fan of you needing to sacrifice yourself. If it's absolutely not necessary, because I think there's alternatives before resorting to that. So.
Because for me, it's not even about like the violence and stuff. As someone who regularly chooses violence,
oh my God,
I said this could have been a conversation. Like it, because again, this is Will Smith. Like, these people are not regular people, and that was not a regular setting. This was very public. They are very public figures. This was live, and I feel like a different set of rules apply to them.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to like stuff like this, because again, like, if these are regular people, we were just all hanging out and someone said something about either of you, and and I saw that you weren't happy about it, I would have said something or done something, depending on. Here's the thing, I would have used your reaction as a gauge for how I would react. Like, if you were visibly upset about it, crying, walked out, then yeah, I'm punching someone in the dick. But like, if you were just, because the way Jada looked and reacted, she just looked annoyed and over it. I mean, I'm not about to like, dive into what she was actually thinking, but like she looked annoyed. And like if you were just annoyed, I'd probably been like, dude, shut the fuck up, and that's it. Or I would have looked just as annoyed and not amused and not given him the satisfaction of a laugh.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, like,
it's, I think people said it was an overreaction. I think it's a buildup of all the things said about him and his family and all that in like the public sphere that kind of probably built up, and he lost control, which is not an excuse,
yeah,
but
and I can relate to that in terms of losing control and
mm-hmm.
resorting to violence, which is why, like, for me, I what do you call it? Again, I, I'm aligned with him like standing up, but the way it was done, no, because for me, I ended up in jail because of it. So, and it's like it's not, it's a shame because it happens to the best of us, and like as I see Will be like prior to this, like he had all these like kind of motivational type of content. I will die on this treadmill and all this stuff. You won't outwork me and all this stuff, and it kind of it negates that this one action negates a lot of the good he's done, which is unfortunate because and it's going to be a while to build it up in the public hemisphere, and then and for me it's like even though like there's probably a lot of nuance to it, but for like say, for others who don't have a lot of awareness or don't or unaware of it, like I feel like that sends a for me raising up trying to raise Jordan up, I that to me says like it's okay to hit people if you disagree with them, and that's not what I'm about. I mean, I would have to like add on to the explainer of like he stood up for something for someone, something that was said being wrong, someone saying not nice things about someone he loves, but again, it still doesn't justify the action.
Yeah.
So, Cleet, my youth minister on Facebook,
Oh,
said,
hi.
Will Smith is a double-sided sword. He brings up he's bringing up the fact that he laughed, and
Yeah, I know.
and then after his wife like kind of rolled her eyes, like within those cuts he laughed, and then he saw his wife, and I feel like that happens a lot with guys, like ha ha ha, babe,
Like,
oh no,
oh,
my girlfriend did not approve of this joke, so and then he does something about it, and I feel like it I think some people are trying to make the point of like why was he laughing, and like and all he's laughing and then he changed and then all of a sudden he's mad. Well, as humans, like, we can change our minds when
he
there's
could have left to just be polite about it, and then he was like, oh,
yeah.
no.
And then as humans, like when there's new information present, like we kind of change
Awkward
our
laugh.
attitudes. Yeah, like he might have thought it was genuine funny, new information. Oh, my wife did not find that funny. Okay, cool. Now he's probably like there's probably this internal dialogue happening that he should do something about it. So it's not so much like we. I feel like it's interesting that we have to like be like you made this, you have to be that. It's okay to I think change stances when new information is given to you. So so just because you found it funny 1 second doesn't mean he has to keep thinking it's funny, and then because then that's now an insult to his wife. Like, oh,
Yeah.
why aren't you laughing? It was a great joke, huh?
Mhm.
And that's which is there's that I'm going on and on, but like, do you guys what else, Lauren or Max?
Sorry. I actually there's a lot of things on my mind because I think our focus is heavily on Will Smith, of course, because he slapped Chris Rock,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which sucks because I'm thinking about the entire situation. I'm thinking about, okay, you're at the Oscars, a grand event. There's already like, and then like there's Chris Rock, like he's a comedian, yeah, like, and he's that's what he does, like he tells jokes and shit like that, and well, and then like there's Jada, who the joke was about her. And I've been like reading, I've been trying to, I've honestly seen so many people's perspectives, or like just tried to look at what people are saying, what they think, like, and this is one thing I thought, like, for Chris Rock to, because Emory, we had this conversation, like, oh, like, okay, he's a comedian, he makes commentary about people, period. For me, like, as a performer, I would want to do a little bit more research on the people who I'm talking about. Just because, well, one, it's the Oscars, like, so you have your audience, so like, but like, also for me, like, as someone who's done like cosplay and done like performed as characters, I do my due diligence to research who I am, my audience, and how I can like do the best and perform, if that makes sense. And like one thing that you said was like we're gonna make commentary on, you know, like, or like, we're a comedian, that's like that's their shtick.
Yeah.
Like, I think your source material has to, I don't think that should be your source material. Does that make sense? Like yeah, maybe it was a funny joke, but also like, you should probably be doing your research about who you're talking about and what might be a sensitive subject, because she's posted about that. Like, she very, very heavily about her and alopecia. So like, for me, I'm like, okay, well, I was like talking to one of my nurses about it, and she's a Black woman, and she was like, yeah, if someone said that about me, like, her husband's like, no, it is no question. I would have hit him too. But like, of course, that's another perspective. And of course, not all of us get the luxury of getting to be in one of the situations. Another thing that I thought was like, yeah, he slapped him, but how far away do you have to be to walk all the way on stage, walk up to him, and then kind of like, maybe process that.
Maybe,
oh, like,
yeah.
I
was
so
sitting
like,
up front, but that catwalk was long.
yeah.
That catwalk was hella long.
Like, hey man, what you doing? At the same time, it's like, okay, you're probably just trying to roll and like, and do your performance. Keep going. You have something to say. Go ahead.
Oh no, because he might have made that decision by the time he sat up and got up and started walking. Because I have had many moments where I didn't care, like, if it was like an hour ago. I've walked from my high school back to my home, like, which is about like a quarter of a mile, with the full intent of beating my brother's ass. So because he hung up on me on the phone.
Relatable.
So I'm like,
relatable.
So if once that decision was made in his head, that walk was just more like more of an echo chamber of what he wanted to do, and it might have been worse, might have been just but
another, well,
go ahead.
Are you? Well, another thing, in addition to, like, if you're a comedian, probably do a little more research about the people you're talking about, so you can maybe decide if something that you're gonna say is, or like, and everyone's gonna think something about your jokes, no matter what. But I think it's different if you're talking about something like talking about someone's weight, or like talking about like things that people can't control. That personally, I don't think that should be joked about.
I agree with that. Like, there's certain things that are off and should be off limits. And I think the thing that, for me, I'm just like going to being humans, and like, we have our own busy ass lives, and to him was probably another gig. He was I would assume that he didn't have time to even do any research, because him being a celebrity, he's probably busy doing other things, or just doing whatever the fuck he wants. I don't know. I can't say what his schedule is, but it's like this.
But here's the thing: like, he's also hosted the Oscars, and he hosted it back in 2016, and also he made a joke about Jada then too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
So like if you're like, so that this is like a second time, and it's like why is that why is it so easy for you to joke about, like, or for that to be a, you're at the Oscars, and again you are choosing to make a joke about another Black woman at the Oscars again. I don't know, like you think maybe you learn from the first time, but I for me, I don't think that's cool.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I that's the thing, especially with one has such celebrity, they don't have exactly their people to call them out in a sense, but they were more filled with their own ego. But again, that's just an assumption, and I agree that that isn't cool if it's been if that was the feedback and you ignored the feedback. And just to share another perspective, because I don't know, it's in my nature to share, to go see both sides. But I worked with a comedian whose whole 1 hour show was about just reading people on the fly.
Oh, so it's in crowd work.
Yeah, just all crowd work. So and maybe just to speculate on it, like it wasn't so much like, and I think that's the thing with comedy. I'm not a comedian, but it's like they try to say things that probably, like, maybe not everyone would say, but they would find funny. But sometimes it's a really hard miss, and someone gets hurt. And like I've made jokes, because you guys know how my humor is off camera, and then I've had my instances of making someone cry, and I have to own up to that and apologize and recalibrate, and how I showed up. But anyways, going back to this comedian, like his was very much like he would see a person, talk about them, find something to relate about it, and then somehow make it relatable in a grander sense. Does that make sense? Say, for example, like, hey, you're a Filipino, it's such and such and such. Was your mom like such and such and such? Oh, Filipinos up in here. Yeah, Joe Coy does this as well.
Yeah.
We make it all grand.
Hospitals are empty right now because you're all here. Something like that.
Things like that. So, it's not so much to defend how Chris Rock did it, but it's just more to bring, I guess, that other comedians do it, but not in the level of, I guess, what he did. But it's also like did he know? Did he not know? That kind of thing. Because he was probably trying to do a little bit of like, oh, I can probably put a little joke here that might or might not. I don't know. Maybe try to, but who knows?
But also, Jada Pinkett Smith was not the first bald-headed woman to show up at a red carpet anyway. So why her? Why now?
That's fair. Yeah.
I think also on the flip side of that is that, like, you gave the example of like Joe Coy, like, oh, the hospitals are empty, like because you're all here. And I think like the delivery of the joke, for it to be like uplifting, like that's like way different, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're like, you're stereotyping Filipinos as nurses, and as someone whose mom and aunt and other aunt, and also who works with all
my own
nurses.
brother, my own little brother, my cousin
like,
just graduated.
Like there's a like that is it is a positive stereotype.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah. So it is. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then one would say like this was more like a direct like attack at her.
Yeah.
And then it just didn't land, whether he knew it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the other things I'm thinking about is like I think the main like position that I've been putting myself in is like, how would I have handled that, like without excuse me, without putting my own way of providing on the line while at the same time doing the right thing. And it's hard, especially when you're in that moment. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think that's how honestly I would try to resort to it. I mean, obviously, if it keeps happening, you know, things would have to be handled in private because I'd much like rather away from public limelight. But yeah, I mean, how would you if you were Will Smith? What would you guys have done?
Like same setting, Oscars, spouse,
Or
and
either or. I
or
think
whatever.
yeah, either or. If
Because I mean,
there's
the
the
setting changes the rules in a sense.
okay
Setting
Yeah.
changes the rules.
okay
Again, if we
Mhm.
were just all chilling, whatever, just hanging out, like it's already a private matter. Like
yeah
that's
Mhm.
already being handled privately. Whether or not I hit them, it's already been handled privately.
yeah
Mhm.
A setting like the Oscars is like changes the rules. Like
Mm.
it's on TV. You're in front of your peers, and and an entire academy that decides the fate of your eligibility for the next year.
Yeah. And
To get more gold stars for acting or whatever the fuck.
yeah.
And so I'm
And
just like, go ahead.
I think also because like because like because Will Smith is black and also Chris Rock is black, like that also like is a factor at the Oscars, is a factor in itself that's going
Yeah.
to change the consequences of how it's perceived like down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah
Absolutely.
Like it's hard to fathom for me for like to be in the past. Like I have gotten angry at people. The only point that I've gotten to where I actually hit someone, it took me a very long time for it to get there. So if like is for something physical to happen for me, I know like it's been simmering for a very, very, very long time.
mm-hmm.
And like same like yeah, that is weird because I know there's the setting of like what would I have done. At the same time, I'm also thinking like I think how the consequences of it after would also dictate what I'm doing too. That makes sense.
Yeah
Yeah, because even though you're in the moment and sometimes you don't think about the consequences after, like a little part of you kind of does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There's always that like quick flash of like, oh shit, what if?
yeah.
And
yeah.
then whether or not you choose to ignore it.
Yeah. At the same time, I think like if he decided and he took that entire walk to be like, yo, this is happening. Like he's been around the community and around for a really long time, in the public eye for a long time. So it's like he's endured way worse than that.
Mm-hmm.
So like I feel like you would also have to like take that into account too. Like what else has been going on like behind the scenes? Like my life is so public, like
exactly
it kind of sucks,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah like it goes to like I feel like maybe the issue really wasn't the issue. Maybe it's just like that was just
Yeah.
the straw that
Build
broke
up
the
and
camel's-
shit.
yeah just
Yeah.
everything else
Yeah.
especially with what people have been commenting calling him like all these other things like such as like about August and everything and I'm like and for me it's like because if I remember correctly because I don't really like follow the relationship because it's irrelevant to me but like it's an open relationship but the thing is what's happening is he's getting attacked for it
Yeah.
so and I'm like because and I can only imagine like how long you have to be the bigger person until things just unless I don't know how until things I guess blow up but then that begs to question like what was I mean I'm sure he has his own way of processing what was happening that day what was in his mind there's even like I said it gets the best of us because and it shows to me that especially them being public that they have an open relationship that society kind of has their own thoughts of what that is, and
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, when the Red Table Talk where they discussed it, where they discussed it and basically kind of resolved it publicly, at least, like, the one thing that like Will Smith was getting attacked for was his masculinity.
yes, and
It's
that
like, oh, you're just gonna let her do that? It's just like, he was like, well, yeah, that's the point.
that's the part of like the whole, like, again, the whole society, and then the whole toxic masculinity thing, or limiting, of like assuming they're just projecting that he's less of a man
Yeah.
because they have this arrangement, this agreement.
Well, he said
That's
once
bad.
in an interview that their promise to each other was that they were going to deliver themselves to each other happy.
Mm.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
My
Ugh.
my mom was watching Extra upstairs
Okay.
when the internet was down. So I was just like, okay,
That's funny.
celebrity gossip, sure.
Okay. So, okay, from YouTube, Will Smith was out of control. He ruined Oscars for millions of people who got the enjoyment of the show. I mean, I could see that too. It hit, what he did overshadowed all the
Yeah, it
other
made it
amazing
awkward the whole
things
night.
as well. So, and
It overshadowed the wins of like some like pretty historic wins from that night.
yeah,
Because people were talking about like Will Smith, and then you had Ariana DeBose like being the first queer woman of color to win like Best Actress.
yeah, and
Best Actress, Best Supporting.
and how awkward it was to not long after to accept an
For
award.
him to win.
So then
Emotional
and then to again, I don't know. He was trying to use, I think, the character he played as a metaphor to what he did, but I think the family came out of a statement that they don't condone violence.
Oh yeah,
and
they didn't
that would-
condone
yeah.
what he did. Yeah.
But I also think that would have been maybe an equally powerful opportunity for him to actually speak up and maybe take ownership of the action instead of
Yeah.
just acknowledging the academy and in trying to indirectly acknowledge what he did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting because it's like
He
there's-
kind of like danced around it a little bit during his acceptance / non-apology
yeah
speech, but also like like there was a statement that got put out yesterday, I think, or today, that
Yeah,
was
his
like
public apology.
a public apology. I don't know. It still reads like a YouTuber apology to me, which means nothing.
I have a
to be
question.
honest.
Yeah, even okay, like behind closed doors, even though he issued a public apology, one, do you think he's sorry? And two, how do you feel about if he is or is not sorry?
do I think he's sorry, and two, what was the second question?
How would you feel about him actually being or not being sorry?
I think he's sorry for the PR nightmare he's in. That's it.
One of those sorry you got caught kind of things.
Yeah, but do I care if he's sorry or not? I'm indifferent because it's not my life.
That, and also I feel like there's already a bunch of people publicly excusing him. Like, he's Will Smith anyway.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's like, he's Will Smith
Mhm.
anyway. He'll bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he.
Which is not a healthy thing. Which is not like a good thing, because like, because like, I mean, I brought up YouTubers, like all these YouTubers every single time hand out these like empty apologies and they get forgiven, or some of them just kind of disappear for a little bit and then poof, Shane Dawson's uploading again.
Oh yeah, or like. Yeah, and then the thing with, I mean, I'm gonna to give him the benefit of the doubt because he said he's done a lot of the self work. I'm gonna assume he's gonna try to do self work, but is he really? Was it more like he finally got the release that he wanted? Maybe, but yeah, I mean, in terms of the apology, I haven't read it yet, so I can't really comment on anything. So
Read like a YouTuber apology.
YouTuber apology as in like, I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna lay low for a bit, I'm gonna reflect,
Something like that.
something
That's
like that.
actually no. That's very Korean celebrity, specifically Korean celebrity apology.
I feel like that's
There's always the self-reflection. I'm gonna lay low for a little bit and then come back.
I feel like that's
That's like pretty standard for famous person.
The standard famous apology. Okay, so John Driver, Cleet son, says paper beats rock every time. Cleet saying truly empty apology. So,
what do you think is like for people who have like this sort of thing where like something happens? I'm trying to think of an example, but like Chris Brown and Rihanna. Obviously, yes, that's a different situation, but at like I guess at what point, what is an acceptable apology, and then like what happens after?
yeah.
You know,
I've thought about that. Like, what would I like if I were in the public eye and I did something like that? I would show that I'm doing something. If I were Chris Brown, I would have enrolled into anger management 52 weeks and domestic abuse 52 weeks to show that I'm
donated a buttload of money to charities for abused women.
Yes. And then try to like actually learn from it. Like, words can be empty, actions speak louder than words, and you better like show up into those actual show that you're trying to make a change. Like donate to the charities, go to these take classes, show that you're doing the work to be better. And it's it might be considered a charade or just trying to show off and try to save yourself, but at least for me, like I'm trying to show that I'm doing the work. To maybe I don't know, maybe I would share what I learned that day from the session. Because when I was going through my 52 weeks of everything, I found those lessons valuable, and I feel like if someone were to truly show to say that they're sorry, they would show that they're doing it, not just say, "Hey, I'm gonna be better, I'm gonna be better, and I'm gonna be better," and you're not.
Yeah.
And then that's the most annoying thing, because you're not being your word, you're just being a liar. You're not trying to be better, you're just trying to get away with it. So like with Chris Brown, 52 weeks anger management, 52 weeks domestic violence, individual therapy, 52 weeks, and what do you call it? Donate to charity because he has that money to, and then even more so, maybe because me being a content creator, interview people, survivors of it, listen to their story, maybe group therapy, because one of the things when I was doing anger management, I did group therapy, and hearing other people's stories gave me perspective. Domestic violence, I was in that for 52 weeks, that gave me a lot of perspective, and then it also depends on the openness of the individual, because some people can go to this and be like it's their fault that I'm here, it's their fault, rather than being receptive to the other lessons in that same place. So yeah, I would take heavy action.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't know what Will Smith right now could do besides literally just try to have a private conversation with Chris Rock and then just say, we're good, we're cool, or we're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
One of those. Like, it just needs to happen one way or another. And like, and then he can do some other more like public things. Like, yeah, maybe he could go through some sort of therapy. Maybe he is in therapy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's rich. But like at this point, I think him and like his PR people are scrambling to figure out what to do for him. Because I mean, he's currently an Oscar winner, so he can't just disappear right now.
Yeah, I mean I feel like that taints the victory.
That too.
Yeah. So good.
I mean, there are other Oscar winners who have been accused openly of sexual assault, and they still have their Oscars. So
you're right.
Yeah, they have done worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they didn't slap a peer on TV. They freaking
Yeah.
Weinstein, man.
That's true.
He still
Yeah.
has his Oscars.
Very, very good point.
Yeah.
Do-
Yeah. So there's always like, especially, I mean, I can't speak on behalf of Black people, but I know as people of color, there is always going to be a double standard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And I can only imagine what it is, you know, for I don't know. Do you think he should be that the reward should be taken away from him due to his actions?
Well, that
No.
sets a precedent. Because if they do, they'll have to do it for.
Babe, I can't. Come closer to the mic.
They'll have to, because if they do rescind that particular Oscar, they'll have to. It sets a precedent that they'll have to do it for offenders that are a lot worse.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So
like,
at this point, they won't.
yeah, it all.
I mean, Whoopi Goldberg is on that board, and there's definitely good. She said on The View again. I watched Extra. Oh no. I think she said something about there's going to be a discussion for sure, but like she's confident that it will have nothing to do about rescinding that Oscar. I think there's something about him not being eligible for next year.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like trying to like separate the human from the artist.
Mhm.
I guess. Cleat saying regarding the thing about like going to 52 weeks, saying that's a good direction, better than saying sorry and then doing nothing, which most do. And he said that they all need therapy. Rebecca from YouTube saying, hi, just joining chat. Don't know if it's come up, but I think it's really sad that Will Smith attacked someone who grew up being bullied. Oh, so yeah, so Chris, so, yeah, I can only imagine the emotions that Chris felt, but I do have to acknowledge how wonderfully professional, and he's a great, he could have just walked away, he could have retaliated, but he brushed it off and he kept going. And just that act, not what he did, just the fact of like, because as dancers we've had the moments of like making a mistake, wardrobe malfunctions, the show must go on. I admired that part of just keeping it going despite shit happening. Yeah. What led up to it is a different story.
Yeah.
I've seen like a couple articles talking about that, and I mean, I think it's cool if you get slapped in the face and you're like, I'm good, and then you just keep going. And then there's also like commentary of like, I think one of the articles like said that the real victim here isn't either of them, it's Jada. One, because like, of course, like Will going to defend her is like, says something, yeah, he's defending his wife, and then also there's the other side of he's doing it because she can't defend herself, but that's an article.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side of the fact that Chris Rock like made the joke about her alopecia, and that already scratches the surface of Black women being the butt end of a lot of jokes, and just in general, like taking the disrespect everywhere. So it's like I was like reading this article, I'm like, which is another reason why I know earlier we before this we even got on, like we were like, oh, we should like actually invite Crystal.
Yeah.
To like, I would love to hear like her opinion, especially I know recently like she cut her hair.
Yeah.
And good soup.
Yeah.
Bomb.
Looks
Good
amazing.
soup.
Looks
Yeah,
amazing.
good soup.
Crystal.
Bomb.
Yep.
But like Like the
Ma'am, that jawline.
Mhm.
Mhm. Like there's already there's so much depth in him making the joke because there's so much history, like discrimination, and so much about Black women and their hair.
He helped make a film
Yeah, you're right.
about
Shit,
hair,
that's right.
about black hair. It was called Good Hair, I think.
Yeah,
It was
I remember
animated.
that. I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, like, how earlier I'm like figure out what your source material is,
Mhm.
you know, to make. I like the more I keep thinking about this, I'm like, this was not good on like several different levels.
So many levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and for Will, yeah, it's probably like in the moment, but like as a Black person, you're probably thinking like, yo, like what the fuck, like after the joke processes, you're like, and then you feel it on a deeper level,
Mm-hmm.
like it stirs something in you, and like I mean, like, and that's why I would love to hear her perspective.
Yeah, hopefully
Can you
she.
hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Did you text her yet?
Okay.
No, she hasn't
Yeah.
She hasn't texted me yet. I'm keeping an eye out, and I would love to
Oh,
have
yeah.
her on. But yeah, I would
Yeah.
love to hear that perspective because neither of us are from the Black community, and we would love to hear because there's definitely a lot of layers to that of
Mhm.
which we don't know, and and for me,
Yeah.
even through this breakdown, it's kind of like leading in a sense of like for me learning something new about it because
Yeah.
because of what's happening, I'm learning about a perspective I didn't know about had
Yeah.
this not happened, you know.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that so who knows, maybe I would love to hear either way. I would love to have her on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And also, okay, from the perspective
okay.
of someone that gets, constantly, well, not constantly, semi constantly, like someone like semi constantly gets comments about something I can't control. Well, technically, I can't control it. My weight. Um, I get those all the time at home. Um, and yeah, like every now and then, I feel like I just want to punch a bitch, like and it's it definitely is kind of a mental workout to not do that
Yeah.
or do other things. But it's it sucks to like get that constantly. And I get, like I like felt a lot for Jada at the time, and like the way that she just rolled her eyes looking annoyed and
Oof.
over it. That was an underreaction. That was a very underwhelming reaction. I'm pretty sure she must have been seething on the inside or seething or just incredibly upset or both. Like that was that was poise right
Yeah,
there.
that
That
you
was
know
poise.
I mean, I
Because
guess
I would have started swinging. I would have started crying. I would have walked out. Whatever. Like if someone said something about a part of me that I couldn't control.
yeah, that I guess the closest thing that we can probably relate to it is titas and moms and all that just commenting about her weight during the holidays,
Or
like
during a
or during a
funeral.
funeral or during any of that. Because I remember my grandma, I forget what the saying is. You're getting bigger now, but it
Laki
gets
mo na.
yeah, it's different when you're growing up versus when you're an adult.
An adult that you've stopped growing.
Yeah, and I could in that sense I can relate because I am personally self conscious about my own weight, and when I hear my grandma saying that, or even worse, I remember going off on my grandma when she kept making comments about Jordan getting getting bigger, or even me, and I'm like, and then my grandma, like I just blew up on her, and then saying to stop making those comments, and she was just like, I'm just saying what it is. And then my mom had to in Tagalog say like, you don't make these kind of comments here in this kind of culture. It's rude, and I can in that sense I can further empathize with what Jada was feeling at that moment. because now like because it's the closest like I can now relate that of the unnecessary comments, whether you're guy or girl. I think you're. I can only I can only imagine how much more women get it from titas and all that shit. But I've
Or
had
just
my
people in general making comments about our bodies.
yes.
Period.
So I mean, shit. I remember being made fun of for being short a lot. So I mean, and I stopped growing in middle school.
Short King, what up?
So, but yeah, I mean, yeah. Do you bring that up? Gave me a deeper level of, I guess, empathy or trying to understand of how Jado is feeling, because I don't have alopecia. I'm also not a black woman, so I'm trying throughout this. I'm trying to figure out how to relate. But in that sense, I do, of like unwanted comments about your appearance, of things you can't control, or can. But I mean, in terms of like my weight, I can control. Yes, I can. I don't have but the things that she's going through, which is which for me is what I'm going through, or what the comments I get, I feel like are smaller or don't compare what she may be dealing with on a daily, being that she's a celebrity. So, but at least for me, I feel like I can relate in some form now. Yeah. We've gone like 54 minutes in on this.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys want to like keep still touch on?
I mean, at the end of the day, like I think, at the end of the day, I was thinking about this a lot over the past couple days, and then one side of me is like, and then the other side of me is like, you have other things to do. Use your mental headspace for other things.
Yeah.
Well, my initial reaction was like, cause a friend of mine that like doesn't care about all this like celebrity shit like at all messaged me. He's like, hey, did you see what happened? I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Why are you talking about the Oscars? You of all people.
So vague.
I'm like, why are you talking about, like, because he assumed that I would have seen it, because between me and him, I'm the one who would have seen it. I used to tune into the Oscars like all the time, like every year. Now I'm just bored, because I'm not going to talk about how they treat animated films. Anyway, we talk about that, but like, you know, I was just, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, like I at first didn't like care. I was just like, at this point, you know, like my little tanky lefty was just like, ugh, whatever. It's just two rich people getting into an altercation on live TV, whatever. And then I was like, wait, there's something deeper here.
Yeah.
And then we dove deep, and we haven't even. I think we're still only scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Just right
there. Yeah, and I thought this.
Try to dive deep, but it's made out of viscous jello, so they're just stuck there.
Yeah, and I just thought it would be fantastic to like hear the perspective from both of you, because I know my perspective, and then when we all started talking about it, it was like, oh wow, there's a lot. Like there's only this is just like scratching the surface, and so there's still Crystal's perspective. I pray to God hops on.
Hello.
But here's the thing, though.
Crystal.
Okay, I'm just gonna like this is probably the most viewers that the Academy's ever seen in the past few years, which is, and to me,
I mean, they haven't been interesting in so long.
Like, to me, what I'm thinking of, like, it's like, what are they thinking back there? I was like, are they like, yeah, that's bad, but then are they thinking like, how do we make more of this?
How do we recreate this?
Like, do we make Oscars like the Real Housewives?
I mean, okay, well, here's the thing. Jennifer Lawrence tripping to get an award twice, like in two separate like Oscar ceremonies. Like, that was organic. That was controversial. Like, people were talking about it. I'm not controversial, but people were talking about it. It was talked about. Did anyone get hurt? No, maybe her knees, but like nobody's feelings got hurt.
Yeah.
Nobody's feelings got hurt. She tripped and fell, and everyone's just like, oh my god, she's so real.
Yeah,
And then everyone's like, will she be nominated next? Will she trip again next year? Like,
yeah. Do you know what? Like, the whole
we
like
need more Jennifer Lawrence at the Oscars.
we need like I would love more wholesome on this because the Korean Unnies, that one you showed me, it was the most wholesome reality TV show for how many episodes? No one ever tore each other down. They uplifted each other. They're vulnerable. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. No, you're not. You're freaking
You're
amazing.
good.
And imagine like
Great. It's like, or it's like, you know, like I'm not, you know, it's what did she say? It's like, oh, I feel so bad. I brought us all down because I didn't practice, I didn't rehearse. But she was sick. People didn't know that. But like I didn't rehearse, and they were like, it's fine. We're here now. We're practicing now.
We're-
Like, you know, and
we're talking
I'm
about
just like-
Unnies for anyone listening and online.
Sister
live.
Slam Dunk season
Sister Slam
2
Dunk, yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
There's no season 3.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I found that insanely entertaining.
Oh, I'm gonna watch that. I watch it for my mental health.
My
I rewatch
thoughts
it
like was like
all
the whole
time.
like is our craving for controversy, but I feel like like how like the whole just it would just be nice to like somehow make more uplifting, wholesome content because it's I don't know, I'm not like as much as like I joke around too, it's I like I'm definitely of the camp of trying to lift others up more, not rather than the expense of others, and that joke.
And like once you see that, like, you know, someone's getting like heavily affected, you pull back. You don't double down like an idiot.
Yeah, and it's because then you know that's essentially just trying to build yourself up at the expense of others. Imagine like what would that be if like if they would got more ratings? What would they be like? What maybe some sort of grand crazy gesture. I don't know. They're all rich. How do you get even grander than that? Maybe I don't know, some celebrity who's aware of some other celebrities charity that they're aware of, like, oh, I accept this, but I'm also going to give $10 million to the other nominees' charities. You know,
Give the Oscar to Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Give it to Andrew Garfield because Tick Tick Boom was a masterpiece.
Oh, that was. Maybe you guys should both watch that.
I haven't watched it.
It's terrible. Don't watch it.
0 out of 10.
Vanessa
I'm not good with anti-hype.
Okay.
Please just say what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
I loved Vanessa Hudgens in this, even though she was like literally there for like 15 minutes.
I was worried about Vanessa Hudgens taking the spotlight.
Why? Because of High School Musical?
No, I was taking the spotlight.
She was amazing.
But she was like someone who like I thought she was an amazing supporting character, and she killed her role, and I don't know, I loved her execution of it. And then Andrew Garfield's performance was
that was his first time performing in a musical type thing.
Yeah, and then his singing was amazing. I love he's very animated with his acting in his face, and which made him so much more fun to watch. And I think he portrayed the
Jonathan Larson.
Yeah, Jonathan Larson so well. And then and those of you who like musical, like there's the cameos from I think it was great. I think it was probably, I guess we're switching topics.
Legends.
We're switching topics now, everyone. So
the legends.
So that's
they did do a red carpet thing with so Vanessa Hudgens like hosted like a red carpet thing, and then Andrew Garfield came on to like her segment, and you know they like talked, they chatted about like, you know, Tick Tick Boom, and you know, and then it was just adorable because like Andrew Garfield had nothing but praise for Vanessa Hudgens. It's like, you know, like, you were amazing. Like, you know, I remember Therapy, and he was like, oh, of course I do. And he was like, you were brilliant. And me, I was just sweating, and you were just like, bat, 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 cat, 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 cat. And I was just like,
he's fantastic at praising his co-stars and like doing and leveraging self-deprecating humor to slightly lower himself, just like as a joke, but also with the purpose of lifting everyone else up. To like,
but he's amazing.
I mean, he was amazing. He is amazing. He's a fantastic. Man, highly recommend to watch it. I wasn't expect. I thought it was gonna be a very lighthearted musical.
Oh
And-
no 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 no!
and
I knew it was gonna be sad because it was about Jonathan Larson, and like I knew he died like basically just before opening day for Rent, which is hands down one of my favorite musicals. But I'm like, this is gonna be really sad, and like I kind of knew the story already. I didn't know like any of the other like detailed stuff, but I was just like when Emre and I watched it together, I was just like in tears. I was like,
Yeah.
And then that one number with all the like Broadway legends, I was like, oh.
Yeah. What do you call it? Thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca from YouTube says, Emroy, viewers enjoy your channel because it's wholesome and uplifting. So great job. Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate you watching.
So
So,
we start talking about. I'm kidding.
I mean, one thing that first number got me was he's 29, turning 30,
Oh my god.
and he is still feeling like he hasn't amounted to anything.
Uh-huh.
And then that's a kind of like, and that hit me. I'm like, I'm 34.
I mean, okay. There's another song about an existential crisis about turning 30. Freaking Bo Burnham when he had the song 30,
Oh yeah, and that
And-
was yeah.
and he was just like, I was like, oh my god, we turned 30 in the same year. Oh my god.
With that, this is the one where he just during the pandemic he was
Yeah,
by
inside.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
I mean,
this?
he wasn't really exactly like he made it look like that.
Yeah.
But he still came home to his spouse.
Yeah. Have you
like,
seen this,
after filming?
Lauren? It's called. What's it called?
Inside.
Inside.
By
No.
Bo Burnham.
Ooh. It's a solo
Movie
comedy.
night.
It's a solo comedy act during the pandemic, and his cinematic
'cause- yeah.
genius, just one man with the lights, with the camera, and coordinating the songs, writing the songs, and performing it, and then editing it. I was just like, I aspire to that level of genius and creativity,
Yeah.
dude.
Well, okay. Do you know Bo Burnham? Are you familiar with Bo Burnham? So his shtick he's kind of I like Bo Burnham because he reminds me of my friends here. Very so his shtick is mostly like when he did stand up is very musical. It's all rooted in music and it's all rooted in like a stage production. He doesn't just do regular stand up. So his act is all songs and he'll make songs about everything, and it's supposed to be funny but very introspective and makes you kind of think, and it's all coming from like his personal experiences, which sometimes aren't good, but makes light of them or like really like doubles down on them, makes you think, and then he'll throw in a joke. But with Inside, it was barely funny. Like we weren't laughing.
I mean, there. I
But-
mean, white woman's Instagram.
Okay, White
was
Woman's Instagram was
genius.
hilarious. It was. Oh
Okay.
my god. Okay. We need to
We need to watch-
movie night
should
this.
we-
The three of us need to movie night
Would
this.
you guys want to watch it after this? How long is it? Like a two? I don't know.
Like an hour and a half too.
How would
Do
you
you have
guys?
time?
After you
just
obviously
gonna
after you
work
work out, yeah.
After
After you
workout.
work out.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I
I'm
just
down.
because I think Tic Tac Boom's like almost 2.5 hours. So you
Yeah,
guys can watch
and
it
it's
on
also
time.
super heavy.
But
I
just
don't want to wake up puffy tomorrow.
it was man, it was funny, but also like the topics were like, oh, huh.
That is how the world works.
Yeah.
Oh, sexting was funny.
Oh yeah. So Yeah,
Yeah.
in short, we're gonna probably watch it after you work
We're
out.
gonna watch
so,
it. Yeah.
because it's how one man was able to pull this off, and it was super meta. Like in some things when he was talking about like there's one part where he was being a streamer, and I'm like, God damn, I feel so seen right now.
Thank you for the bits. I'm like, oh,
Hey, yo, let's go.
oh, and the
what's going on,
reaction
guys?
video.
Yeah,
the reaction video.
there's a part where
Oh,
he's just like, I'm reacting to the reacting to the reacting
with
of the reacting.
with the purple lights. I'm like, Emily.
I was like, I thought about
like,
this,
he's
but
making fun
it's
of
so
you.
genius. It's
Making
so
fun of you.
yeah, it's
and,
so meta.
And I guess me and Lauren too, because we were on temper tantrum.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah.
videos. Oh no.
Yeah, so definitely highly recommend that. Bo Burnham, Inside, and then Tick Tick Boom, fantastic performance. It's just like great. It just artistically amazing. And those of you guys watching live, I highly recommend you guys watch it. If you guys
No, they suck. I'm kidding.
so if you guys want me to anti-hype it, negative 20 out of 10. But if you got an honest opinion, it's a really good watch. Like I watched it with my ex-fiance Steph. You know, trying to get her to watch things that I like is really hit or miss because sometimes she's like, "What the fuck are you watching?" But then I sat her down and like because we were having family night, and she was like, "You're welcome." Okay. I'm like, "You're welcome for introducing to this artistic genius." Yeah. Okay. So
Lauren, I haven't made you watch any of the stupid shit on YouTube that I watch. you have been saved.
Yeah. So
I make Emery watch my stupid shit on YouTube.
I mean, I like when
Here's Game Grumps.
I like when you guys send me stuff to watch because I'm like, oh, this is what they like. Share with me your insight. I mean,
funny gamer things.
The things I send to you guys is just like, here's a podcast I'm listening to right now.
The Daily Stoic.
The Daily Stoic, or
which actually is very useful.
Or how to start a business in a weekend. So it's not
how to succeed in business without really trying.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's a musical.
Is it really?
Yeah. Daniel Radcliffe was on Broadway, doing the lead for a couple months.
Yeah. Okay, I need to use the restroom. Do you guys want me to do the pause screen, or do you guys want to carry the show for a bit?
What should we talk about?
Gary.
All right, it's on you guys. I shall excuse myself.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about?
I don't know, but I did this and I thought, cheeks.
Just cheeks. Oh my god. So how much of Ranking of Kings have you watched?
I haven't watched it.
Oh. I watched a little bit. Emotions. I am so down to start over with you.
Much excite.
Oh god. Because I was just like, because my friend Kyle had it on his on Plex. He's the one that showed me that. I was just like, this is adorable. Like he only saw the art style, like, and he read like a synopsis, like, oh, this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, yeah, do y'all want to watch it? And we all started watching it. I was just like,
my emotions.
Like, why can't we just go back to? Why can't we just watch Demon Slayer again?
And then I'll cry during
I'll cry
too.
again too.
There's just tears. Is it really an anime if you're not crying?
That's true. It's like the requirements for an anime: school episode, beach episode, crying.
Wholesome community bonding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Star Wars Visions.
My God. Okay, I still need to finish that. Emma and I started it, but yeah. Star Wars Visions, babe. We need to finish that.
I thought we did.
Did we? We watched a couple episodes. Or was that it?
I don't recall.
Was that it?
What the
it wasn't
last
that long
episode
of a
is.
series. It wasn't that long of a series then.
It was, well, I really liked how, like, because I felt like I was watching a different type of anime in
because the art style was different episode.
Yeah, and like every plot is so different. Yeah. I felt like I was watching like sometimes I feel like I'd be watching like Studio Ghibli, like Nausicaa, or
oh my god, one of them had a very Ghibli-esque like art style, and I was just like, oh, this is my favorite.
Yeah. And I was like, I think it was the second episode where they have like a band, and then they're being chased, and one of their band members is going to be executed. I was like, this episode is literally 23 minutes long, and it has this entire like in-depth story, and I'm crying.
I know.
And it's been 23 minutes.
It's halfway through. I'm just like,
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. I think one of my favorites was the one with the twins.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think one was defecting to be good, and the other one was like, oh god.
Good.
And then
like it's such like a typical storyline, but like the way they presented it was just.
Yeah, I'm not the like a hardcore fan as so many others would be, but I do enjoy these original stories away from
the main
the Skywalker family and their drama.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, it's a space opera.
It's not them Skywalkers again.
Them Skywalkers.
Like, yeah,
Oh, look what happened to Galaxy 37. Oh man, these Skywalker bitches.
The Skywalker ass bitches.
I still want the Oculus where I'm a Jedi, and I just want to like.
Oh, okay. So what if
You know-
I got the HTC Vive, the super expensive one, but like the sensors that like, oh, we need a room. Never
Yeah.
mind.
Dude, what would you guys if you guys could work out? Would you if in VR? Would you guys?
I'd be down. I'd be like, I'd do a boxing thing or a thingy.
Workout in VR.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because there are like there's a workout like game on Oculus.
Yeah, and then there's in EOS, one of the gyms that Steph goes to.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They have a dedicated VR room, but like, and then there's actual like stands where you can actually run in place.
Oh yeah. I've
So
seen
like,
those.
that's why I kind of want to try
They
playing
have those
Elden.
arcades.
I kind of want to try playing, maybe not Elden Ring where it's insanely difficult, but like a game where it allows you to run and explore the lands and just look and just go for a
Half-Life.
jog. Half-Life.
Half-Life
or-
Alex.
Or what's
Go
that-
drop
what's
penises with
Okay.
with a marker.
But yeah.
My favorite thing.
if-
I drew penises with a marker.
Because it's kind of like killing two birds with one stone, playing a video
Phasmo?
game, and then no, that's like no
Phasmo.
something that
You
allows
can carry
me.
more things.
I just like the idea of being able to fight, and then,
Oh, you can't fight the
and
ghost.
then fight and run, and then still get my cardio in.
So, okay, here's my question. Because if you're like, for me, if I'm in VR, like, and I'm doing all these cool things, like, for me, I would want to, like, jump and then climb and swim. If I'm fighting someone, then I'm actually, like, what, for me, what's happening on the outside? Like, if I'm parkouring over this rock, like,
You're just
Yeah.
jumping, you're hitting a button, and you're like doing this.
You're hitting a button. There is this one game called Super Hot
Yeah. Oh my god.
Where you-
oh my god. They
I-
played that on Unus Annus.
where you actually have to move your body, and
Mhm.
Joey kept having to protect the TV from
Yeah.
me because I kept getting too close.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's bullet time, and then you
Mhm.
have everything happens by the speed of how you move. So if
Yeah.
you move fast, you're dead. So
Mhm.
the bullet's coming this way, and you have to go slow, and you're going into a slow ass squat, and then there's a gun right next to you. You have to go really slow to just even
To grab
reach
it.
it,
Yeah.
and then you grab it, and then you shoot. It's all just like practicing your speed control for dancing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's great because I was so sweaty after it, because then it becomes like a John Wick situation of like, all right, cool. These guys are coming from here. They're coming from this side. They're here. You have a machine gun, a gun, and a knife. What are you gonna do?
Get the knife.
And then
Okay.
and it's intense. And then, you do. Those watching have to watch out for you.
Mhm.
Because you actually have to reach for the gun, activate, and then shoot. Reach for this, shoot, and if someone's next to you, you're gonna get smacked. Yeah, and then there's
I was playing Beat Saber at my friend's house, and so when my friends would play Beat Saber, they kind of like, you know how when the Wii first came out and people were just like, oh, you have to move your whole body to do this, and then people figured out, oh, if you just move the Wii mode a certain way, it'll do it anyway.
yeah.
So that's what they were doing. So they would stand up anyway, because like that's kind of like the point. But they were just like go or whatever, and they get it. And you know, they just literally will put their hands on it on like in a certain spot, and then it just does it. For me, I was just like, I was actually like freaking doing it, and then like to the point that like I was almost dancing. And then I think there was one where it was like it was like the end, and like I had to like slash this way. I almost hit someone right in the balls.
Oh my god.
I was like, and then I felt a body. I was like, oh my god, who is this? I'm so sorry. They were like, yeah, no, if I were a couple inches taller, you would have gotten my balls. I was like,
Yeah, the thing with VR, Lauren, I'm assuming you've done VR right before too.
no,
right?
I've never done it.
Oh, dang.
we're getting an Oculus.
Well, there's VR like mazes or VR ghost hunting games that we can go to. We'll go.
Yeah, they have a VR sandbox like type places. There's one in City Walk.
There's one in Glendale.
Oh yeah.
So there's we can go there and then we can go like do some ghost
Wait,
hunting type shit. And I was trying to
We
do.
went.
Well, good.
No, we went when we went to Wisdom back in 2019. Like they had like a VR experience.
Yeah.
Remember
Oh
that?
yeah. I was stuck on
Mhm.
that for a while. Like
Mhm.
the wisdom.
Is it still a thing?
Yeah. Like
Oh.
you're able to like see this projected room lit similar like this projections of like kaleidoscope type of art, and then you put on the VR and you start creating art around this area. It's a trip, but I think it's okay. I have ideas of what we can all do.
And they play house music.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Shoot. Okay. I mean, that's definitely something we'll check out.
Mhm.
Like when I come back from Arizona, something we can all do. And yeah, VR. I think the thing with VR is that I get motion sickness like crazy.
Yeah.
And when Harry Potter had the VR aspect of it, I was ready to yak.
It was 3D.
Sorry, the 3D aspect of it, having the headset and everything. Ooh, because it. I don't know. It messes with my. It just made me want to vomit at one point. Because I remember playing this one shooting game. Anyways, like it. Long story short, I just wanted to vomit after.
Mhm.
So I guess it depends on the.
I got a headache
the-
after a while when I was playing Half-Life Alex, because that one involved a lot more movement. And I was doing Beat Saber. I was just standing in one spot,
Yeah, it makes
so
me.
it
Like,
wasn't like that. Yeah.
yeah, I was playing.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, like, for me, how I'm thinking about it is like, because it kind of throws off your equilibrium.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. and it's-
Because your eyes are trying to perceive something that's like not there, but then your body's grounded in your physical reality, and it's like,
Yeah, it's really a trip when you take everything off.
Yeah.
Because especially
Ooh.
like playing like say like a lamp lit room like just regular lights, and then you play a
Mhm.
game like Super Hot where it's very bright like a white room and just very strong like polygon type characters that are
Mhm.
just there to attack you, and you take that off, everything is dark. It's a trip, and it's kind of like it really does feel immersive, especially with the headset and everything. I can only imagine what it's going to be like once haptic gloves are a thing where you can actually use your hands. So yeah. Okay, what does it say on Facebook? My youth minister says that Katrina and Edward, my old friends, are getting married. Congratulations, Katrina and Edward. I have not talked to you guys in a while, but congratulations. I hope you guys are doing well. They're like only a couple cities over, but yeah. What else is there? I mean, we talked about the main thing we want to talk about, right? So
Yeah.
anything on top of your guys' mind? No?
I'm hungry.
Hungry? I mean, we can essentially, yeah.
Hungry.
What is that?
I have snack.
Oh
oh
no.
yeah.
Brown sugar. Boba
Wait,
milk,
what?
mochi. Okay.
My youth minister is gonna marry. He's gonna be the one that marries them.
Oh, that's
That's dope.
wild.
That is cool.
That's a
dope.
trip.
Yeah.
Small world. Cleat.
The world's this big.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can we? Oh my God. Hold on. Let me. There's someone spamming my YouTube right now with
Oh shit. No.
with
Requests.
nakedhd.xyz.
Wow.
I'm gonna.
Very legit.
XYZ.
Very legit.
I'm gonna remove them. How do I
That's all was spamming requests.
Be gone.
hide user on this channel? Keep it a secret. Okay.
Watch
Well-
BTS 2019 Mama.
Well, Cleet, like my youth minister said, keep it a secret. Cleet, I have not talked to anyone from that side of town or a group of friends or anyone in Live Teen in years. The closest one I've kept in touch with is Mark. That's about it. That's an interesting thing. Like, do you guys still keep in touch with your own old high school friends? This is something that we talked about.
Yeah.
Like looking at my old friends is my like high school friends on Instagram, and I look at them. Some of them are still wearing the same thing. It's almost as if they didn't change in a sense. I'm sure they did, but the things that they being in the same friend group, I look at them like how they I guess look as it's almost as if they seem the same. I know for sure I do not have braces anymore. I don't have I don't have spiky hair. I feel like I'm a very good different person, but I don't keep in touch with them because I feel like because my youth minister just asked right now, do you keep in touch with them and where are they now? I don't know where they are right now, Cleve. But I'm sure they're
I
still
keep in touch with some of mine.
I used to. I feel like there's a part of me that feels like, I guess, a little jealous of people who keep in touch with her old high school friends, because then that means they're getting to grow old with each other. They have history with each other, but it also like now looking at it is like seeing that kind of perspective. Oh, maybe they're still the same person. Maybe they haven't grown as much. I mean, that's just like all an assumption.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like I was just taken on a insanely wildly different journey that I don't know if keeping those people around would have helped me in my growth or held me back. Because one thing I am afraid of is staying the same and refusing to evolve to what life throws at me, because I feel like that now, especially with our generation being so critical of the younger generation already. Like when TikTok was on the rise and calling it stupid, or when the minute we start criticizing the youth, it shows our age. But yeah, I don't keep in touch with them.
Your whippersnappers.
It's not at least not with. I don't keep in touch with them in terms of like I'm like friends with them. I don't hang out with them. I like say like, hey, how you doing? Keep in touch. Like, let's talk, whatnot. But that's about the extent of it.
I've gotten back in touch with friends from high school after having not being able to like talk to them in a while. Like we met Paula. Like we obviously we went to school together in the Philippines, and then I moved, and several years later she moved to New York, and like we hung out and like we caught up, and like we're pretty good friends now still, but like when we met back up, we were already different people. So it's not like we kept in touch this whole time and neither of us changed. And even then, like then she went back to the Philippines, and then back to New York, back to the Philippines, back to New York, and each time she came back she was a different person. And so was I, like because these were different years. I was doing different things, I was with different people, and also like I'm still friends with someone that I've known since kindergarten. So you met her. We've known each other since kindergarten.
Wow.
Pre-K, actually. Sorry, pre-K. We've been friends forever. And like there was like a long period of time where we didn't really like talk. We didn't have like conversations or anything. Like we'll just randomly comment on each other's like Facebook posts, but that was it.
Yeah.
Like to a point, and then we met back up, and it's like it's like we picked back up where we left off, but at the same time we were catching up on each other's lives because she's a mom now.
Yeah. Cleet is asking different. I think he's referring to Paula. Different in what way?
So like we weren't close when we were in school together. There was only one thing we had in common. We both were obsessed with Incubus, the band. And that was it. Like we weren't like close. We weren't like good friends or anything. And I think it was like, the reason why we met up, it was like, it's like, someone from home. It was someone from home. We wanted to connect. It's like, we went to school together and we were like close enough to begin with. And, we're like finding things about each other. And it wasn't the Paula I knew back in high school. Like the Paula that was a little bit more reserved. And again, like after I've seen like some of her posts from like college, like that bitch can party. But like, so when she came here, she was kind of the same way, but like to the point that like she was just being herself. She was like in her 20s. She wasn't calm. She was like sleeping with whoever the fuck she wants, going on like 5 Tinder dates in one day. And every time we hung out, it was always like every time so whenever we go to New York, someone gives me a neighborhood and I find somewhere to eat. At that point in time, someone gives her a neighborhood, she finds somewhere to drink.
Okay.
So she was like that. Like I have gone home absolutely trashed because of her. She like, you know, she's also a photographer, and I didn't know that about her. Like I didn't know she actually had a creative bone in her. Like I thought she was just kind of smart. And you know, and then she's a photographer, and then she was like building her portfolio. She asked me if I wanted to do a shoot. I was like, sure. Had to be nude. I was like, okay. And so she gave me like 5 shots of tequila. I was just like, okay, let's do it. And then I was like, wait, I have to go home. I have to take 2 trains and walk.
Oh wow.
And I was like, oh no. So I called my boyfriend at the time. I was like, hi, I'm calling you because I'm on the train from Queens. I'm going to Penn Station, very drunk. And he's like, oh, why are you announcing it to the train? There's no one in here. But I'm calling you. Please stay on the phone with me so you know where I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, and then she left. She went back to the Philippines, came back, and you know, we hung out again. I was like, oh, do you want to go here? Like, you know, there's a bar here, blah, blah. She's like, no, I just want to eat.
Oh no, she's like, calm down.
She calmed down
quote,
and
unquote, calm down.
Yeah, she calmed down and like, you know, she was still like dating around in a sense, but like she was dating. She wasn't just like 5 Tinder dates in a day. Like she would date a dude for like a couple months at least. And you know, and then she was like really like seriously like trying to start a business. She was working on her visa, and I'm like, are you?
Yeah.
Because like, you know, when we went to go somewhere to eat, and I think the place was closed, so we went somewhere else. So we went to like a little cafe bar down the street, and I was like, oh, what do you want something? So I got myself a wine. She's like, no, I'll just have iced tea. I'm like, who are you?
Wow.
I'm like, what? And then she also told me that like, you know, she's you know, she was really looking to like kind of settle down. So like when she was dating, like she already had that in mind. Like she wants to like settle down. Like she's like trying to see if like any of these people who she was dating was good husband material.
Yeah.
For her. None of them were. She went back to the Philippines, got engaged, got married. Boom. And she's never coming back to New York.
I mean,
I'm sad.
she's
but she's happy.
Yeah, that's amazing for her. Like
Yeah.
you saying that reminded me of what people said to me as I got older. They, from
Calm
my
down.
elementary school friends to high school friends, said like, I feel like I can actually be honest with you, like I tell you the truth, because a lot of them felt like they had to walk on eggshells around me because they weren't certain what would piss me off. And I was like, wow, was I always exuding that much anger? Was I always that easily triggered? So yeah, Cleet, I don't know if you're still on there. How was I? You want to hop on another podcast and kind of tell me how I was in high school? How you gonna deal with me
2
and
weeks
my
from now?
anger, and maybe in a couple of weeks or so? Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting because I thought I was. I don't know. It would just be interesting hearing a different perspective of how I was as a high schooler, and you trying to like kind of mentor me in a sense. Yeah. What about you, Lauren? You're like,
Yeah.
I don't actively keep in touch with friends from high school. Over the pandemic, I reached out to some people just to like say, hey, like I hope you're okay. But I think also like during the pandemic was supposed to be my 10-year high school reunion.
oh.
Yeah, that didn't happen, and it still hasn't happened. It's 2 years later.
I didn't even go to
man.
mine.
I guess it's okay. I mean, I think I would like to, like, of course, get to like see people, like see them as people outside of their Facebook posts and stuff like that, which is cool seeing. Like, I think like Facebook as a social media has been cool, like showing people's timelines of like where they've gone in life.
Oh, yeah.
I think the only person who I've not like very actively who I made like or like had the most recent contact with is my friend Joey, and he started a nonprofit called Above the Stigma.
Ooh.
About
Wait, that's okay.
Yeah,
about
about men's mental health awareness. So he reached out to me maybe like a few weeks ago, and he was like, hey, thanks for sharing all my posts. And knowing the upside of like people sharing your stuff, and I'm like, of course. Like,
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes.
can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we
Did
can
your
hear you.
AirPod die? Hello? Technical difficulties.
Are you in
Hold,
my ear
please.
now? Come on.
Are we?
Or are
Come
you
here.
just quiet? Is it just
No.
me?
We can.
Hello?
We can hear
Can you
you.
hello? We can hear her.
I
but
hear
think she
you,
can
but
hear
it's
me.
like you're coming out of my
The phone. Ruh-roh.
say hello.
Hold, please.
Okay, so.
It's like you're coming out of my telephone.
Oh.
The telephone. Jerry!
Jerry.
No, you're so quiet.
Oh no.
No! Wait.
Okay. Give us a
Gang,
moment,
gang.
everyone.
Yeah. Hold,
Oh,
please.
wait. Say something.
Hi.
Something?
No. You're
This
hello?
is the beauty of
Hello?
being live.
It's still bad.
Oh no.
Okay. You're coming out of my teeny speaker on my phone.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Oh, I think
kind
I
of?
know. Wait. Okay. Anyways, so yes. I was talking about Joey and his nonprofit Above the Stigma.
Mhm.
So super cool. Go follow their posts, and just yeah.
Yeah, I just
I
want,
was on something and now I'm off it.
yeah, you were talking about like reconnecting with him. I just went on to it right now, and I just gave him a follow. So, she still can't do. Well,
Hello.
in the meantime, while Lauren reconnects, Cleet,
On AirPods.
uh,
In my ear.
What do you say?
Cleet says, I did have a short fuse. So, I mean, Cleet, if you're down, Cleet, we can do maybe I can drive.
Leave me behind.
Okay.
No.
I will be back.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cleet, I can head on over to your place. We can film there.
Hell yeah.
And then we can have our own episode of like, I don't know, a reunion. We've had a
episode?
couple like, no, oh shit, never mind. The last kind of reunion we did.
I fixed it.
Oh yay!
Yay.
No,
She has returned.
Cleet, yeah, I can drive to your place. I think you're like way out east, and I can like, I won't say where you live.
Where?
Please don't type where you live. That's
Don't.
not. But we can talk. I can just text you. It'd be really cool to talk about how I was growing up, just for the lulz and for entertainment of like, how was I? Was I a little
wait.
prick?
Yes.
Why
No.
did you pick me to be president of Life Teen in 10th grade?
Oh my god.
And then that'd be interesting. Okay. Yeah, I gave Above the Stigma a follow right now because I love that, especially about the destigmatizing
Mental health, yeah.
mental health.
Wait, okay. So, Emery, you haven't known each other for a while, so there was a 10-year period where we didn't talk. So we were clearly different people from when we met to when we reconnected.
Uh-huh.
So, like, how much of a trip was that for you?
Which part when I talk
Like,
to you
just,
again?
yeah, well, just kind of seeing where you're at, where we were at, like, 2008, 9-ish, and then, like, 2017, like, kind of like catching up with people with each other's lives.
Oh, how different we were. I mean,
Yeah.
I talking to you again after the 10-year ghost period was very,
Your period.
was very much like once we started getting rolling with our conversation and banter again, it felt like we didn't miss a step. But mentally, where I was back then, I was afraid of commitment, and I was like, I wanna date around. Bye. But now I was very
Ghost.
much of a different kind of mentality of like, okay, I'm ready to commit. We used to talk like shit about all these corny couple things, and
Now we are the corny
now
couple.
we are the corny couple things. So and I embrace it because I feel like we're trying so hard to be too cool for these things, and now it's like, you know what, the corny things. It's like if that's how you really feel, then just fucking say it. And then I know
Because like at the time I thought I was ready to commit, but like I was also like trying to still be like too cool, but I was like, oh, this is where we cuddle, ew.
Oh yeah, and then we cuddled.
We called it anyway.
Yeah.
So
So
like
th-
cringe.
Yeah, I mean,
why
'cause
did I- no.
because of that, like that's one of the reasons of like when to either one of you, I'm like I'm just gonna say what's I'm feeling, and to be honest, and even if it comes out as corny, at least I said it, and maybe it might end up being poetic, but I'm pretty sure it's majority corny.
A little both. It's a little bit of both.
But yeah,
It's a little bit of both.
because I just remember being so hard against that because I was trying so hard to be like, yeah, I'm an alpha.
An alpha doesn't have to say he's an alpha to know that he's alpha.
Exactly.
I know, but that was like this is
That's some beta behavior. I'm
This
kidding.
was, but damn,
Delta.
damn.
Ooh.
Because that was during my phase of like me trying to figure out how to like just like
Be a
you
man.
guys both know, yeah, like how to talk to girls. So and then I was trying to figure that, yeah,
Pretty girl.
just a pretty girl. I guess you're right in that sense. I was trying to figure out how to be like a man in the sense, and like especially like in the dating sense of like I didn't really have any role models aside from like mainstream fucking media. I don't know. Walk to remember anyone?
The worst.
So-
Which is the worst.
No, The Notebook is the worst.
Oh,
That was
The Notebook was
you
the
him
worst.
being like on the fucking Ferris wheel. I'm gonna let go right now if you don't want to date with me. So such talk. No.
I would have been like, yeah, let go then.
Yeah, no. But
Bet.
I mean, again,
Bet.
the whole thing with my argument for Walk to Remember was like all it takes was that one person to make an impact to make a
You
change.
still need to watch A Walk to Remember.
Oh yeah. But you've never watched it?
Never watched it.
Oh. We're watching it together.
It's
If I can find it somewhere.
I want to react watch to it,
Yeah.
and I want to film myself being corny about it.
Well, here's the thing. I saw it in the 6th grade, and I was again one of those like, I'm like too cool for this, but I really genuinely did not like it. Was it because my peers were like obsessed with it, and I'm like, why?
No,
Or was I really, I was like what 12? I was like, what's love?
no, I was,
Like, ugh.
I was a
Get it away from me.
I was a romantic.
But also, I
so,
never felt love as a child, so there's that.
I mean, I feel like I was always a romantic. And then my like at 10th grade, I was like, oh, when I saw the trailer, I forgot what other movie I was watching. I was like, I have to watch this movie. And like I don't care if I'm gonna watch it by myself, and I was gonna go watch it. My stepbrother Dan was like, "You're gonna go watch a movie by yourself?" And it's like I watched this movie with my older stepbrother.
I
like,
want to know.
he was a bro. Like he just
I wanna
showed up and
know
watched it
now.
with me just because like he didn't want. He was like, just because he didn't want me to be alone. Like because I guess there's a whole stigma of watching movies by yourself back then.
Whatever. I watch
but-
movies by myself.
Yeah, but I remember just being so into it. I was like, man, I like Mandy Moore is like one of my top celebrity crushes. I wanted to be Shane West. Dating Shane. And it's like, yeah, I'm the bad boy that needs to be, that can
Punished.
change.
Oh,
But yeah, oh god, I'm so fucking.
I mean, okay. I think the first like rom-com-y thing, like I mean, like Walk to Remember is not a rom-com, but like the first like anything that had like any sort of like romance in it that like I genuinely, unironically enjoyed was 10 Things I Hate About You. And I was just like, I don't know why, because I was like, I don't relate that much to Julia Stiles' character Kat. Like, I mean, kind of like, kind of like Ice Queen, standoffish, blah blah blah. But like, that's I don't know. I liked it. Maybe it's because of Heath Ledger. It was Heath
That's
Ledger.
Heath Ledger, man.
It was Heath Ledger. It was Heath Ledger. I'm sorry.
Rip.
And Joseph
Rip.
Gordon-Levitt being adorable as fuck.
Oh god, yeah,
He was so cute.
yeah.
God, I'm old.
What about you, Lauren? Any
Yeah.
impactful romance movies growing up? And I was like, yeah, I want that. I wish that was me.
The Mummy.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. The Mummy was my
My,
sexual
like,
awakening.
What would I? Well, okay. When I was growing up, my
imagination was more so like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and like
Same
the romance would happen in the
within the
midst
fantasy.
of,
Yeah.
yeah. One of my favorite is like well, my romantic icon was Orlando Bloom as Legolas. So
Yes.
so
Yes.
it was more so writing fan fiction and reading fan fiction instead of like actual movies.
This is why all
But-
three of us get along.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like there was like those like rom-com movies that I was like, eh. But I feel like most of my awakening of, you know, my sexuality, I guess, came in action and
Yeah.
fantasy movies.
But yeah, The Mummy was my sexual awakening.
Yeah,
I was like,
with
oh,
great
I'm
reason.
bisexual. Literally, I was like, I am bisexual.
Ooh,
I was
speaking.
like, he, and him. I'm bi.
Yeah, that was a beautiful cast.
Everybody gorgeous.
Man.
Everybody gorgeous.
Speaking
Yeah.
of, I guess
Oof.
we'll try to wrap it up soon. But speaking of like
I have to pee.
awakening, you want to use the bathroom real quick? Or you wanna,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll pee now.
Quick break.
Where's my camera? Lift.
Lift.
Lift each other's cheeks.
Yes.
Wow. Oh my. So, what's your workout gonna be?
I don't want to talk about my workout now.
Okay, that's fine. I just thought about that. But one thing,
I know.
one thing that I mean, we'll loop Max into it is, the whole awakening thing is turning red.
Oh.
That part, and then I think the one that's coming up for me is the controversy of like parents complaining that, you know, making like a cartoon talking about a girl having her starting her period, doesn't even show it, and then in my head I'm like, it's a normal part of life. Why, like, it kind of, you know, some kids don't even know about it yet until it actually happens. It's like I don't know what question I'm trying to pose here, but that's just one part that's intrigued me. And maybe part of the question is how parents try to overprotect from everything. Even, I don't know. Your thoughts on, I guess, the movie, what came up for you, as, you know, you being an Asian American and then growing up. I don't know if your mom was a tiger mom, but yeah.
Ah!
Oh. We're talking about turning red.
Huh? Turning red?
Yeah, I just asked Lauren a question. I'll ask you after.
Are you gonna react to 4chan?
Oh God.
Please react to 4chan.
Hold on,
kidding,
let her answer.
I think that, well, I know that people brought up the fact that the talk about like her period happening, her red peony. I was like, oh my God, that's a very Chinese flower. I don't know how else to say it. Like
Yeah.
like a sakura is definitely like, that's a Japanese flower, you know, like, so I thought that was funny. I think it's weird because they like brought it up and then I didn't even think anything of it afterwards, and how people are making like a big deal, and I'm like, it kind of, okay, like that's the reason why people were afraid to talk about, or like girls were afraid to ask people, or like ask like teachers or like fellow like students for like a pad if they started their period.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that people are from what you're saying, it sounds like from what you're saying, it sounds like people are kind of like ostracizing and demonizing it. And it's like, why the reaction? But now the side of that, the other side of that reaction is that now girls who are starting puberty aren't going to be comfortable with the fact that like they feel like they can't talk about it, which I'm glad like turning red made it so normal, you know, it like she started and then you kind of don't even think about it for the rest of the movie because yes, because she's panda.
She's a panda.
Yeah, and like and like, well, one, I love the movie so much. The fact that she was like, I hustled the panda. I was like, yes, she did.
Yeah.
Bitch,
I'm 13.
yes.
I like to gyrate. I was like, yes.
Then
I
she's
mean,
like, look,
It was a,
Look,
No,
just
I
like fucking
know.
like their little panda twerks.
it was
yes.
a great coming of age story.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And one thing I did admire is like the whole like the I guess the making it normal that girls admire boys, whereas like I had growing up I had this like girls are innocent and all that shit and they don't look at boys like that, and then they're like, heck yeah, that makes
They're
it
just
so
like,
for me, I'm
oh
like,
my god. Can we talk about Abby?
Abby was amazing.
Abby is my
so
favorite
much.
little gremlin. Oh my god. The gremlin chaotic energy that was happening. with her.
Aggressive support.
Yes. First place in our hearts.
Yeah,
So precious.
beautiful character design, great use of the
Mhm.
colors, and that's one of the things I like too. I forgot where I read it, like where it could be the article that you mentioned about, but like it was about generational trauma with Encanto, and then and then Turning Red, and I think the comment was that Turning Red didn't hit as much, but it could be the wrong. I'm anyways, I digress. I just like the fact that it was addressing generational trauma in different ways. Encanto was magic. This was just growing up.
Panda.
Yeah, a panda.
Magic?
Panda. It's also magic.
Yeah. Panda.
Panda magic.
Oh my god. Excuse me. Yeah, it's like it's like excuse me. Cleet said, we were hoping that the girls were innocent when you were growing up. Okay. But yeah, I mean,
None of us
I was
are.
gonna say, like,
None of us are.
yeah, but also like in my head, I like when you tell me that guys would be like, oh my gosh, she's like so pretty. Da, da, da. In my head, I'm like, really? Y'all say
Why?
that?
yeah, well,
Y'all think that?
like,
Yeah.
You're not just like, hey man, what's up? What's up?
and we just turn off.
That's like, but I think that's also like for me, I had to process the fact that you are another person and you have your own brain, and then there's admiration for the opposite sex happening in that brain too. So like that, yeah. So it's also
I grew up with boys, so like it was weird for a boy to find me attractive because I'm like, "Ugh, but we're dudes.
But we're
You're like,
bros.
but we're dudes.
But we're dudes. Like I grew up as a dude. And then like, well, not really, because I was still being treated like a fucking 5-year-old at the age of 13. Anyway,
Filipino parents, everyone.
Filipino parents, everyone. But like, it is weird to like, especially like when you first start getting like attention from the opposite sex or whatever, or like anyone really, like in my case, from like anyone really.
Yeah.
But like it was weirder from a dude because I was just like, oh, this is weird. Like, I mean, yeah, you're cute, but like, I thought we were bros, bro.
Yeah. I don't think I really experienced that. Like, I probably not at the same level as you both do. As I feel like I could just be assuming that you guys were complimented much more than I have, or hit on much more than I have. Like,
Oh,
what?
I'm
Like,
gonna tell you now.
what?
No.
No,
No.
really.
Growing
Not-
up,
Growing up, hell no. That was
Wow.
weird.
So this is just
That was
another
weird. I
version,
had
you know?
eczema. I was fat.
or it happened and I was just like,
And you didn't know.
whoa.
And you
Or
didn't
not
know.
even intentionally dodge it, but like
They're
I
just
think
they're just being nice.
They're just being polite.
not even I don't think like maybe it's just how I'm remembering. Maybe it's my memory Rolodex. I feel like I didn't get the not that this is a bad thing. I feel like that I just wasn't like hit on. I felt like the attention was always on like other girls.
Mm.
Yeah, like I was like
Girls around me specifically.
yeah. Like I was like the NPC, or I'm just like
NPC, get the
yeah, or like maybe my focus was just anime, so I just
Well, there's that.
so
Yeah, my focus is on Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, so there's that.
I was like, oh my god.
I also went to an
Hello?
all girls school. I also went to an all girls school, so there was that. But no, because like also like from anyone too, like whether like from any like gender, like back then, like it would, you know, like hitting on me, because as someone who was bullied a lot, and I took that as they're making fun of me.
Oh,
Somehow,
wow.
somewhere, they're making fun of me. This is a joke. They don't mean it. Yeah.
Wow.
This is a trap. Like in my brain, like I was always on like survival mode. I'm like, this is a trap. So there might have been someone who genuinely wanted to be with me, but I was just like, this is a trap. Like you're too attractive. Why?
I feel like I can empathize in that sense of like a good chunk. Like I was made fun a lot of my hair throughout elementary school because I had a very puffy bowl cut majority of my life, and they
You're
would call
a
me
good Filipino boy.
they would call me Bruce Lee, which is technically a good thing, but it's just like
Racist.
but it felt like I just know it wasn't meant to be a compliment. So just dealing with that, and then being made, and then now dealing with my temper growing up, and people just trying to get me mad just to get me riled up. What do you call it? I would just get like when the first girl, my first girlfriend, or anyone like during that time period, I would be like, which is why I projected it on you, Max. I was like, you're not really attracted to me. What do you want? So like,
That's what I said. What do you want?
I had like this kind of barrier of like, what is it you're trying to like extract from me? How do I protect myself from you?
Semen.
Yeah, like are you trying to play games with my heart? So Backstreet Boys reference, because I've had when I've trusted I've had, obviously we all have experiences like, you know, get in the face. It was like, oh, I shouldn't have let them too close, and then yeah. Anyways, like I'm about to go off track. Brandon Berciaga, in the chat says,
we know him.
naman pogi, ha?
Oh my god. Tito Brandon, hello. Tito Brandon, hi.
So, what
Where my
were
money?
what were we talking about? Oh, getting like
We're talking about turning red
turning red, coming of age,
and puberty.
and puberty.
Puberty.
Yeah,
Puberty.
I mean,
Puberty.
yeah, the epic fight of
The panda fight.
the panda fight. We're spoiling it now.
Whatever.
During
It's been a while.
at the concert
Spoiler alert.
was very much reminded me of how I stood up to my mom. Maybe not to that level of size.
You gyrated?
I didn't gyrate, but it was a conversation of like me no longer wanting to be a doctor and wanting to be a comic book artist. And there's the comic book, like obviously like the conversation, how are you gonna make money off that? It's like what's not like practical, or if I can, but like I just remembered the whole like thing. It's my life, mom. So
It's not a phase, mom.
it's not a
Wait.
phase, but yeah. That just reminded me of that. Every time I've seen it, like I've seen it with both of you at this point, and it's like, yeah, I remember that conversation of like trying to stand up for myself, and it makes me wonder like if Jordan is gonna get to that point, or if he needs to, because I feel like Steph and I are pretty open. I'm like, just don't be an asshole. Be less of us. No, specifically, be less of your dad.
Be less of a dad.
Cleet says sometimes sometimes our defense mode gets the best of us, but as we grow, we see the greater picture as we overcome some of our challenges. I agree. But yeah, you guys, that the final argument between parents, child and parent? Did you guys have anything like that growing up?
Not really, because I've learned to just kind of toe the line a little and just keep my emotions to myself. Which I still do. I should stop. But like, whenever she says something or does something, she still does. At the very spring chickeny age of 31. Like it's always just I just take it and bury it or tell my therapist about it.
Oh man.
Because it's the centuries of filial piety that got beaten into me while I was growing up in the Philippines. Because had I grown up here, I probably would have been different. Like I think I mentioned previous episode that they both my parents told me like this one thing when we first moved here. They were like, oh, like I did or said something that was like not aligned with their values, but it wasn't harmful. Like it wasn't hurting anyone, literally wasn't hurting anyone. But they were like, oh, so you're American now? I'm like,
making you question your like Filipino-ness.
Like that sounds like penis.
Philippines.
Philippines.
You got one of those.
You have one. You have a Filipino. You have a Filipino.
I do. Damn. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it and also like that was said to me while I was homesick for the Philippines. Like I was like I was still over there in Los Angeles. I was just like I was homesick for like the Philippines. Like I miss my friends. I grew up there, so like I was I was just like I didn't say anything. I just went to my room, cried a little, did my homework, took a nap, and then made dinner for the family after having my weight talked about.
Ugh. God, that's
Great.
sorry you have to go through that, man.
I have a great home life.
Yeah.
I'm in therapy.
I mean, it's one of those things too. Like if you like stand up to your, like especially with the Philippines, we can growing up with Filipinos, like Filipino, like it's like the whole respect thing. You gotta respect your elders, yet at the same time they can talk shit to you however the fuck they want. But then if you talk back in the same
You're
candor,
disrespectful.
like what is it? What does it say? Wala kang respeto.
Walang respeto.
Yeah, I'm like, I remember even you saying that triggers like memories of my mom.
Why? Because I said it the exact same way she
Like,
said it.
yeah, like just of like me just trying to stand up for myself. Maybe albeit I was a little fucking prick, but like me trying to there's certain aspects of myself trying to like I'm trying to go into, such as being an artist or like and just feeling like I wasn't good enough to speak my mind because I was a kid.
Yeah. And there was a point my senior year my grades slipped a little bit and they like talked to me about it. They were like, what is this? It's disappointed in you, blah blah blah. Like, what happened? Like, I mean, I should have said I chose to have a life, but I was just like, I said, I mean, it was also true, but like, I was like, oh, there's just a lot of pressure. Because, I mean, I put the pressure on myself because I made the decision to, go by my timeline and actually finish my senior year that year instead of going back as a junior or sophomore at any other high school that like I wanted to go to because they were like, you're too young, whatever.
Yeah.
So I made that decision. There was a lot of more pressure because everyone's like looking at me. They're like, well, you made this decision. You wanted to graduate early. I'm like, I'm not graduating early. I'm graduating on time.
Yeah.
And and there was that pressure. And then there's like applying to colleges that like my peers had already like had a head start. They've been applying since junior year probably. And I was sitting there. I'm like, what are these schools? I'm like, what are options? I don't even know what I want to do and blah, blah, blah. Cause like my plan from senior year onwards was just shattered because I was no longer going to be living in the Philippines. I was going to be living somewhere else. I'm like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of pressure that I put on myself that like other people put on me. And like I told them, like, yeah, I'm just really pressured. My mom's like, you're pressured. I'm like,
Oh God.
okay, fine.
You're pressured. I feel pressured. I'm going through this.
I mean,
So,
yeah, that's true. Like I acknowledge that, but I'm like, hello?
yeah. I mean, yeah.
You ripped me you like I mean, obviously we were all, we all left together, but like me and my siblings, we were all just kind of like ripped from this life that we were already like settling into, especially like me and my older brother. Like, we were making connections, we were making friends. We have like these like what we thought were lifelong connections, and then all of a sudden we're just like, nope, we're going to America.
Oh man.
I was
Yeah.
just like, that hurt, and I was just like, like I tried to communicate it in a sense, but I was just like, we did this for you. Like, we had a good life back home. Why are we here?
Yeah. And I want to pass the ball to Lauren. First off, like Cleet saying, Lauren and Max, you're both beautiful. All the guys see that. No, he didn't do that, but that's just me. Is Crystal finally responding? God
Crystal?
damn it, Crystal! We're about to end it
No.
because so we can have. So we can.
So Lauren can work out.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We can carry on.
So. Okay. So Brandon said. Okay. Brandon said regarding the Filipinuses. Go on.
Philippines.
And then Cleet.
I hear him saying it.
I know. Me too.
Go on.
Go
This
on.
Cleet saying, "Oh my God, that's so true. My mom being Filipina, it's always do what I say, not what I do,"
Mm.
and I hated that. Like if examples speak louder. And then my favorite, Brandon saying, my mom's favorite line: "I brought you into this world, and I can take you out." And also saying, this generation is fucked because I would never say or do anything like you guys do to your grandmother because I respect and love her. Has lighting that I don't love or respect anyone because I don't agree with you, or I won't let you tear me down or talk shit. It makes sense because like they take standing up for themselves yourself as an
As a form of
insult.
disrespect.
Yeah, gaslighting. Thank you, gaslighting. Go. I think Crystal will hop on. If you're down, we can extend it for another 15 minutes. I know you got to work out, and we could probably watch Bo Burnham another time because sleep is important. But
What is that? What is this?
Did you have a moment of like that last butting heads of mother and child trying to find your own identity, like as maybe a teenager or maybe even now?
Even now. I think that I feel like not that we didn't really butt heads. I like when I was growing up and I was in high school, I felt like I didn't really like they didn't have a lot to complain about, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because my sister, like, she was older, so she like she came home drunk once, or like she got her belly button pierced, and so I just learned from watching. I'm like, okay, well, don't come home drunk. I didn't drink. I didn't have my first drink until I was 19, so in college. And like, or don't get your belly button pierced. Like a lot of the things kids did in high school, I did in college, and I was away. So it's like I didn't really have like I guess I had my crazy time. So it's not that like I feel like because my parents, like my mom and like their sides of the family, they came over when they were really young.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad came over and he was born here, and then my mom came over when she was like 12. So like I feel like they had more of the experience that you guys had, and like as opposed to me actually having it, because my aunt, like she like when she was younger and she was becoming a nurse, like she was offered a position in Hawaii, and my grandpa was like, no. And she was like, yeah,
Aloha.
Yeah.
Aloha to you.
she was like, aloha. Yeah. So I think that I'm very thankful that they kind of did that for us, if that makes sense. Like, of course, like me and my mom, like we had like arguments here and there. There's actually, I think there's one time that I did say something to her and she like slapped me, and then I was like, and then she was like, and she apologized. This is like in high school. But like I feel like it was super tame. Like now we're trying to build more of a relationship because like from my perspective, I think she just had more to worry about, like with my dad. And for me, I'm like, I'm way more like chill. Or when I was a kid, I was like more quiet and like kind of like grew up within, like I wasn't a problem child, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really have much to clash with her on, because I think for me, I was like they already, like I could tell like her and my dad's marriage was falling apart.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think subconsciously I was like, I don't need to add any more stress to that. That's already stressful in itself.
Yeah.
And then like once I moved out, like the unraveling of that took place. So it was like that was more of her focus. And for me, I'm like I said, I was like, I don't need to add any more stress onto this because I'm worried about them, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So actually, this crazy story. Oh my God. Okay. Side tangent. So
Story time.
Yeah, story time. So when my parents were getting divorced, like they were in the middle of it. And my dad, like I came home for the holidays. Me and my dad decided to go out to a movie. And like we're in the theater, and then he goes to get popcorn. And then my mom like pops it, like, so he like leaves this way. And then my mom like walks in like on a date. Yeah. And I was like,
Hello?
I was stressed, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
She and like the other guy, they like sit down, and then my dad comes back, and I was like,
What do? How do?
Yeah.
Oh,
What
God.
do? How do? And so after the movie, I see my mom like in the bathroom, and I'm just like, hi. And she's like, hi. And she's like, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm watching a movie with dad. She's like, okay, well, I'll see you at home. And I've never talked to her about it since. Yeah. So I think that'd be a really interesting conversation to have. That was like 10 years ago.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like, there's a part of me that forgot that happened. And then I told one of my friends about it. He's like, I'm sorry. And I was like, wait, why? And then like, I think the processing of like it actually happening and me witnessing it was like, I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, like, yeah, I've had, like, long story short, like, of course, like we've had like our arguments, but I think most of my focus or like my, like that clashing didn't really happen because other things were going on, like in the midst of it. I'm just like, whoa, oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna be less of a problem.
Oh man, that's a separate topic of like my mom. Like for example, my mom's like, "Don't give me any more problems." I'm like,
Okay, well the thing is, they were used to the fact that I was becoming a quote unquote problem child while I was going through puberty. Connection. Because I was Maylin. I was perfect. I had the grades. I had the extracurriculars. I came home after school. I did homework. I would go to an advanced math thing on Saturdays. Like, no, like I was that kid. I was a Kumon dance class. like freaking piano lesson ass bitch, even though I only learned how to play Old MacDonald on piano. Because I hated it so much. My mom, well, I was only put in piano to fix my posture, not really for the musicality. So as soon as like I finally like had like the posture, my mom was like, "Okay, you're good." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess." But yeah, like I was that perfect kid until I was just like, I realized like, oh, I don't have friends.
Ooh.
Like I have like school friends. I see them at school, and then I just never hang out with them after. And I'm like, they were like, oh, let's go to the mall, let's go here. And like, as teenagers in the 2000s, the mall was the place to be. So like, let's go to the mall. I'm like, I can't. I have homework. Like we have the same homework. Yeah, but I have to do it today.
Oh man, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Raising Jordan when he's a teenager, like, because thankfully, like, his school district's pretty empathetic. They hardly give homework, because they get the part of kids needing to be kids, like, and the staff is pretty young. The principal is probably not that much older than me.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of nice seeing like
gotta love it.
a new, at least a younger generation, kind of like trying to think of kids' mental health as well. Because one of the things they talk, I forgot what it was, but what's one of the, like they have, there's music, there's dance and all that stuff. One of them is talking about mental health and feeling, and then as Jordan in his sarcastic manner was like,
I wonder where you got that from.
and he was like, "Mom, do you get anxiety?" And like the biggest smiles, like, and I'm like, just like in the face, just like as a joke, and being very expressive. And then they're like, "Yeah," and we look at each other like, "Where'd you learn that?" And then some people would find that like, why are kids learning about anxiety? But I'm also like, like glad, because especially with how school, I don't know how Arizona's school system is, but in just the American schooling in general, it's like it's all just standardized testing, regurgitating information. It's all about the performance of these tests rather than the well-being of the child. So it's like, and then I think it's important that kids are able to identify like what feeling anxious is, or even what it is, or what is seeing in others. I feel like a lot of adults try to assume kids are stupid, that they won't understand it. They're really smart. It's scary.
Yeah.
Like, and we just have to give them the guidance to figure it out, and to let them learn and kind of let them process that information. I remember when Jordan was younger, like to try to teach Jordan identifying feelings, we'd watch these Disney movies, and then Steph, I think she was fantastic in this. Like, she was like, "Jordan, what do you think they're feeling right now? Like, sad or happy? Oh, what do you think they're feeling right now?" Just so he can like start identifying emotions and like learning how to empathize. And he's showed it.
It's also good for social cues too, for just him seeing changes in facial expressions, because some people can't tell.
Yeah, like he knows when I give the mad look, and he knows when I'm, and I don't think he's really seen me sad yet, but oh no, yeah, I mean the closest he has seen me sad was him moving away, but I tried to keep it together because I didn't want him to think that day was a sad day. But yeah, I mean he's seen, like, when Steph got into a car accident, he's seen Steph sad, and he's such a great kid. Like, when Steph got into it, like when they're both he was rear-ended, and I think I've told the story plenty of times, but it's just one of my favorite stories of how sweet he is. He was able to hug Steph, and he was like, "It's gonna be okay, Mom, because I love you." And just seeing that, and then yeah. But anyways, I digress. I don't know. I forgot how we got
Purity?
Parents' emotions, and just makes me curious as to how he will, because eventually he'll be like, want to find his own identity, and no matter how good we try to parent, there's some little thing that he's gonna need to talk about into therapy. Maybe not at my 52 weeks needed of everything level, but maybe he needs something that obviously,
It's probably someone to
we
talk
got-
to
yeah.
outside of you guys.
Yeah. We're reaching. It's 10. Okay, let's close it out. Any last words or I don't know inspiration things that's coming up for you guys want to share to close out the podcast?
Gang. No.
Oh my god! Did we do that last time? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we did. Eh?
Good. No.
Now I feel obligated to say something.
No. Nothing else. Okay. that's
Check
fine.
yourself before you wreck yourself.
So
That's what I'm gonna say.
So, Cleet says lost sound on his phone for some reason. It's been great sitting and talking with us. I will call you Cleet so we can do the video at your pad. So, I mean, if nothing else you guys want to add, let's close it out here. If you guys, thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked it and all that, do all the things. Follow these two, support them in everything, because these two are amazing. Excuse me. And with that, appreciate you guys for listening, and we will see you guys in the next episode of the Awkward Tea Party. Diego, you just hopped on so late.
Diego. What the fuck?
I love you, Diego. I'll see you later, dude.
Hey, man.
Wait, hold on. I have to wait.
Okay. And transitioning out
Peen.
and
Pee.
muting you guys. Oh no, not muting you guys, muting that audio. And yes, Diego, we're finishing. I love you. We've been doing this for 2 hours. I love you, dude.